Let me first start off by saying that Alien Isolation is the best survival horror game that I have ever played. It is also the most faithful Alien franchise video game that has ever been created. I will debate these 2 points until the bitter end. But in saying that, obviously it's not a perfect game. And without any further rambling, Alien Isolation is a first-person survival horror game set in the Alien universe and was developed by Creative Assembly and published by Sega, released on October 7th of 2014. Alien Isolation is on a myriad of platforms. I've played through it on the Xbox One, but for the purpose of this review I'll be covering my most recent hard mode playthrough in the PC version with some graphics mods. In Alien Isolation, you take control of Amanda Ripley, of Aliens deleted scenes fame, who is on the quest to figure out what happened to her mother Ellen Ripley after the events of the original Alien film. Samuels, a Weyland-Yutani aka the company android, fills Amanda in on the fact that a flight recorder for the Nostromo was located. The Anesidora salvaged the recorder and it is now on Sevastopol, a Seegson Corporation space station. Amanda and company then travel to the Sevastopol via the Torrens courier ship and thus begins the epic adventure. Throughout your time in Sevastopol, you will need to utilize your brains and cunning along with the supplies that you find littered throughout in order to craft items to survive. Things such as flares, noisemakers, smoke bombs, etc. in many circumstances will be better than straight up firearms, such as your revolver or shotgun. Too much noise, alien no likey. The name of the game is to know what to do, where to go, and keep moving, though sometimes you do need to hide. Throughout Alien Isolation, it will be hunted down by a variety of enemies. The most omniscient and groundbreaking in its AI being the alien, who is indestructible, though does have an aversion for flames. Followed by equally low-key as annoying as the alien Working Joe androids, as well as other humans that are on Sevastopol. The AI of the enemies, particularly the alien, could be its own video in itself. I'm not an expert on that, so I will link a video in the description below, which does a wonderful job explaining the ins and outs of the coding behind the ultimate killing machine. Alien Isolation has fairly good and atmospheric graphics for its time. You really do feel like you're in space, you feel like you're isolated, and on spaceships set in the same general universe as the Alien franchise. Now, I have an ultra graphics mod in the footage which cranks the atmosphere up to 11, but even without that mod, the game gets a job done in being drab when it needs to be, but also atmospheric when the time calls for that as well. The sound and music in Alien Isolation is amazing. Many sounds seem directly ripped from the Alien movies, and everything blends together to create one of the most cohesive, atmospheric, and unsettling soundtracks I've ever heard. Think seeing the alien drop down in front of you from a vent is terrifying? Well, how about we add in some Xeno shrieks, crashes, and intense orchestrated soundtracks to take you from rabbit turds to Jurassic Park-esque poop piles in an instant. The controls are fine, nothing really to write home about either way, although at times I did find it a bit difficult to grab certain items as well as to get Amanda in the vents and in certain areas. It's a little touchy here and there, and you'll see what I mean if you play through it. Now the shining star of Alien Isolation, the difficulty. Alien Isolation has a myriad of difficulty settings to meet your needs: Novice, Normal, Hard, and Nightmare. I've not tried the game on Novice, but obviously that's tailored towards people that want the experience but not the headache. My first playthrough of Alien Isolation was on Normal, and I think that's actually a good difficulty while you're getting used to the mechanics of the game. Hard, the developer's recommended difficulty level, really ramps up the difficulty from Normal in a big way. I found it to be super challenging on my third ever playthrough spread out over a 4-year period. And lastly, Nightmare makes everything more difficult, hit harder, maps are removed, resources are limited, and so forth. The ultimate survival mode. I'm greatly looking forward to trying that one out sometime soon. Some critics pan this game, IGN, and I really don't understand it. One of the only legit criticisms I could think about is perhaps Alien Isolation was a tad too long. Maybe some of these critics went into the game thinking it would be more like the movie Aliens, you know, where there's tons of firearms, action left and right, but that's not the case. This game captures survival elements and the oppressing, dreadful feeling of that of the original Alien film. There's this killing machine, and there's really nothing you could do to stop it, but by God, we're gonna try. Once you go into the game realizing this, I find it hard to believe that if you're an Alien fan, because there's so many callbacks and Easter eggs to the films, or just a fan of survival horror, that you won't love this title. It was a truly unique gaming experience that I don't think will ever be matched or surpassed again. While I do clamor for a true sequel, sometimes I'm content with just leaving this franchise as is. I give Alien Isolation a 9 out of 10. This is a perfect homage to the Alien franchise, beset by a couple of minor grievances with controls, general game length, and enemy actions. If you're looking to be close to an anxiety attack while playing a horror game, then play through this one for the first time and see what happens. It will be an experience that you will never forget. Until next time.